Hey guys, I'm going to try to display for you guys how to take your parts from your stock Street Fighter Legacy cabinet over to our new boss panel for it. I'm going to do the setup where the controls are included but you're keeping it stock. If you were modding it, you would get 2 coin buttons instead of the switches, the stock power and volume switches that you'd be using here. And if you don't get controls, these will not fit the stock Arcade1up buttons. You'll have to buy 28mm buttons. Alright, we're going to start. We have to get all the buttons taken out of the encoder, but if you look through the top here, everything's glued in. The power button has a heavy amount of glue. You cannot take that off. Leave the volume in and leave the 4 plugs for the joysticks in. You'll see 2 of them right here and 2 of them over here. Do not unplug those. I couldn't do it without damaging the encoder. I had an extra one here, so I kind of went rough on it, see how much pulling we could do, and you can see I heavily damaged the joystick pins. They popped right out, and then the power switch was faulty anyway, so that's why I have a new one. So I pulled that one out. Did everything I could to get it out, and I couldn't get it out without damaging the pins. So leave those 6 items in there: the volume, the power, and both sets of joysticks. Everything else should come out pretty easily. I just took a little X-Acto knife, kind of cracked the glue a little bit. There isn't a whole lot of glue on these, but the power and the joysticks and the volume, there's quite a bit of glue, so it's best to leave those in there. We're going to have to splice the wires for the joysticks anyway, so we can plug our joysticks into using these plugs. We'll just leave them in there, we'll splice these wires and plug them into our joystick. Now only the top row has glue. I'm not sure why that was. So the bottom ones will pull out here pretty easily. And if we got the glue enough here, if it's not coming out, don't pull too hard. You'll pull the pins right out with it. Take your time. Okay, we got all the wires out that we're supposed to. This is what it should look like. You should have the joystick wires, all 4 of them still in there. The volume and the power should be left alone. Now we're just going to take a screwdriver. I wouldn't recommend a power screwdriver, but I use them for these all the time. I'm going to go ahead and clip these zip ties here to loosen up these wires. We're going to cut the joystick wires so we have the plugs to use still. Do not touch the power and volume. You want to cut these 4 here: the yellow, the black, the red, and the green. Try to come about halfway. Give yourself a little extra length to work with. Now we got to remove the switches. It should come out like this, still attached to your encoder. We got these 2 little switch covers here. And then these little rings here are glued in as well. So you're going to have to kind of pry around the glue a little bit, loosen everything up. This one wasn't bad at all. And you just push them out. Those will go over into your new arcade control panel. Okay, here's the new control panel. We're going to wire everything up according to this diagram we'll send with the control panels. It tells you where each button goes, which player it is, and what color of the joystick does what. So right here it says yellow is left. So what I would do is go through, if we didn't do this for you, just mark your joysticks like so, if you're using the same ones we are or the ones we're including. Left, down, right, up. And then you could use the diagram a little quicker and easier. I also marked abbreviated mark the buttons down here as well for the player. So it'll be easier to just follow the diagram and go. We're going to go over splicing the wires for the joystick now. These will come in pre-cut for you, so you can splice them into your plugs over here on your encoder. I'll try and link you if I can find a set of crimpers on Amazon for you. And I'll try to post a link in the video. These ones work nicely. Just kind of pull the plastic off the wire to expose the wire. And then we'll just twist them together. Get some good vinyl electrical tape. I went by the cheap plastic stuff. It just comes off after a couple weeks. And then just follow the color coding that's on the diagram I'm sending with the control panels, and we'll attach these to the joystick wires here, color code them, match everything up, and then we'll vinyl tape them. Just for clarification, I'm on the last wire now. If you look on the diagram, it says green is down. Mark this with a D, this one's down, so we're just gonna twist the wires together, nice and tight. Wrap it around a little bit, and then I'll tape everything up. Oops. I'll tape everything up with the vinyl tape, and then we'll start installing the encoder. Now we're gonna install the switches and then the encoder. First, make sure you get your rings in, click them into place. They should just pop into place like that. Drop in your sliders, and then the switches with the wires still attached. Power switch should be on your right over here. Now there's no holes pre-drilled for this. You can just drill or screw it right into the wood. You can drill yourself pilot holes if you'd like. Now we just got to find the best place for the encoder so all the wires can reach pretty easily. So when you're taping your wires together, obviously you have to separate them. I just kind of use one strip, wrap it around one wire, seal it up, and then I'll put the other wire in there. This one's sealed so they won't be touching. Okay, all 8 wires for the joysticks are done. We'll go on to the switches. Okay, now we gotta find the best spot for this encoder. First we're gonna attach PCB feet to make this easier to attach to the wood. I find it easier to do this way, and then twist the PCB feet on there onto the screw. Doesn't need to be too tight yet. We'll get this attached to the wood, then we'll tighten it up. Gonna go opposite corners. Make sure we're in a spot where all the wires can reach. Okay, let's plug in the buttons before we attach the encoder here. I'm going to just follow the diagram here. We got jab, shows in the lower right. You gotta remember there's 4 spots here, there's 6 spots here for the 6-player buttons. This is the start buttons here, so you're gonna use the 6 on the right for the player buttons. Punches go on the bottom. Strong punch, middle, and then fierce punch on the left. Short kick, just kind of goes in order. Fierce kick and then roundhouse. And then next to those will go the start buttons. Diagram says player 2 on top. Player 2 is on the left if you've got it upside down. Now we just got these 6 buttons and we're good to go. Alright, jab. So go strong, medium, short for your attacks. Okay, we've got everything attached. It looks like this is the best spot, so I positioned the PCB feet to work around this logo, which I'm going to have to move out of the way. I can see it's a problem now. Then you'll have two screws included to attach your PCB feet to the wood. Again, there's no holes pre-drilled. I just drill right into the wood. You could even use a screwdriver to screw it right into the wood. I think that's everything. We're ready to plug it in and try it out.